Welcome to GFT, Galactic Figure Talk, a podcast about Star Wars and Star Wars action figure collecting.
Awesome, yeah!
The reason they're 3¼ inches tall is because the first mock-up figures that I made were Fisher-Price Adventure People.
I will freeze your body in carbonite forever, Han Solo! Not so fast!
We finally launched 6-inch when I felt the time was right. We needed a new spark.
We started selling all of the action figures through the fan club, and our most successful was the Cantina Band. That was enormously one of the best-selling items we've ever sold through the fan club.
Whoa! Darth Vader!
I used my nephew as a hand model on the Wampa box. He's the one with the little hand that's in there.
It's Kenner's new Star Wars action figures. Now, welcome your host, Chris B.
Welcome to another episode of GFT, Galactic Figure Talk. My name is Chris B. I'm your host, and I'm here to get you up to speed with Star Wars action figure news. Alright, so before talking about Star Wars action figure news, there was a whole bunch of other news surrounding Star Wars, and I can't ignore that, of course. And we now have a release date for Star Wars Skeleton Crew, which is going to come out on Disney Plus on December 3rd, 2024. So right before Christmas, we're gonna get another Star Wars live action TV show. And this sounds fun. I mean, they advertise it as Goonies in space, and if it's anything like Goonies, it's going to be great, because, you know, in my household, we love the Goonies. I try to go down to Astoria, do the 4 or 5 hour long trip from Seattle down to Oregon, and visit that little sleepy town on the ocean. The Goonies house is still there. Most of the locations are still in the town, and it's just such a fun trip every year. And like I said, we love the Goonies, and if they're able to capture some of that magic from the 80s that was in that show or in that movie, we're in for a fun ride. So hopefully, fingers crossed, they'll be able to give us a pretty fun Star Wars live action show. Now, there are already a whole bunch of merchandise items out that you can collect. There's, I think, a magnet that's out there and a poster that features the crew of the Skeleton Crew. And there's also the Lego ship that's hitting Target stores. So that's a fairly big ship. It's a bigger set with a whole bunch of minifigures included, and you can already track that down as well. So a few Skeleton Crew items are already out there. So December 3rd, I'm looking forward to that, but it is still pretty far away. I'm still in full on summer mode. I'm not ready for winter by any means. I'm not even ready for Halloween yet either. And talking about Halloween, Disney just launched their new droid this morning on DisneyStore.com. They've been coming out with Halloween-themed droids since 2016. And this year, of course, there is another one, and it's called R5-Z0MB, which reads R5 Zombie. Costs $14.99. You gotta add shipping and tax on top of that. But it is available on Disney Store if you wanna get it and you can't get to the park in California or in Florida. You have the option to pick it up online. This is an interesting looking droid because it doesn't really scream zombie at me when I look at the paint application, but the dome looks like there's a piece missing. It was kind of like chewed off or something. And it's interesting because they actually resculpted the dome and some of the inner workings as well. And we really haven't seen that in the Build-A-Droid Disney lineup for probably more than a decade or so. And it's interesting to see that they made changes for this one, and I can actually see them going ahead and repainting this one and making different variations of this zombie, so you can build out your zombie army maybe. Yeah, it would not surprise me if they come out with a multi-pack of those guys in different colors, maybe next year or something, who knows. But anyways, this is R5 Zombie, and for a full list of Halloween droids, which Disney has done in their Droid Factory program, Take a look at the link in the podcast description. It'll give you the full overview. Now, I've been talking about Skeleton Crew and Disney Plus and Disney's Halloween droid, but just more news broke coming straight from Disney, and that is about D23. Now, I think that we can all expect a trailer for Skeleton Crew to come out at D23, but what's absolutely amazing is that they just announced a Starspeeder 3000 playset coming exclusively to the D23 convention. And this very much looks like the Starspeeder 1000, which they've released several years ago. That was the red version, the red and white version, the ride vehicle, which they have, of course, in Star Tours. And this Starspeeder 3000 is the earlier 1980s version that has the white and the blue paint application. But it's not just a repaint of the previous vehicle. It looks like they've made quite a few modifications to this one. For one, it can hold 25 3¾ inch action figures on the inside. So you can sit 25 figures in there. And on top of that, you have electronics throughout this entire ship. So you can press a button, the doors open, you hear the chime that you usually hear when you board the attraction. The lights come on, and they even integrated a 4.75 inch LCD screen on the front of the vehicle, which will play the launching sequence of the Starspeeder 3000. I mean, how amazing is that? That looks absolutely amazing, seriously. This is also going to include 2 Star Wars figures. One is the original Captain Rex with RX-24, the pilot, and then an R2-D2 figure as well. It also has a stand, so you can put it on a display stand and basically put it in flight mode. And the display stand can light up. It looks really cool. And yeah, I mean, this is absolutely amazing looking. I don't even know what to say. It is limited to only 3,000 pieces. And it's a real bummer because I think there are a lot of collectors who would love to add this one to the collection. And it's going to be either really, really expensive or just very difficult to obtain overall. Yeah, only 3,000 made, only being sold at D23. And they apparently did say that they will make it available online on the 12th of August. But do we really expect any of those vehicles to be left by then? I don't know. I mean, this seems like it's the hottest thing ever. I mean, I've tried to get stuff on the DisneyStore.com website or Shop Disney before, and whenever they have exclusive stuff launch, it can be a huge pain in the butt to get stuff. They have this virtual queue that you have to get in, and sometimes you have like 20,000 people waiting in line to place their order. So even if some of those items make it to the online store after the convention, the chances of really scoring this are going to be very, very low, unfortunately. But yeah, but it does look amazing. It also has the landing gear. And I'm going to put a link into the podcast description so you can take a look at and see what this vehicle looks like. But it is truly amazing. It's truly amazing looking. Let me just read some of the features it has. So I already mentioned the 4.5 or the 4.75 inch LCD screen on the front of the vehicle. It's not on the front. It's actually inside the cabin. So all the figures will basically face the LCD screen. I already mentioned it can hold 25 3¾ inch figures. They also say here it has authentic premium decorations and details. It has buttons which activate attraction content. It has display sequences and Captain Rex character phrases. Plus, there's an extending and retracting landing gear, which locks into place. It has the reversible light-up display stand. And they're also going to include a decal sheet if you want to customize it further and make it look more your own. Yeah, an amazing piece. It looks great. I love what this looks like. The R2-D2 appears to be just included loosely in the box, but the RX-24 droid comes on an exclusive card. And yeah, this is just going to be an amazing piece to have in the collection if you can score one. I mean, we know that HasLabs, when they're successful, and most of them are successful, they end up in the 8,000, 10,000 and higher range of vehicles backed, and with only 3,000 of this one made, going to be a tough one to track down, or at least it's going to be very expensive to track down. But yeah, it looks amazing. I mean, it does come with an exclusive figure, which is carded, and so yeah, there's also some breakaway panels, which I just noticed. You can put the screen door down in the front of the vehicle as well. Good stuff. I hope that everyone who wants one is able to pick one up. But yeah, like I said, it's not going to be cheap this time around. I mean, it kind of feels like another HasLab, right? I mean, at $300. But yeah, I mean, to compare it to the HasLabs that Hasbro's done, and I don't know why they've just shied away from electronics and lights in their HasLabs, specifically for Star Wars. I mean, other HasLabs are still doing it. But I think this is a good reminder of how much personality or how much lighting and electronics can add to the displayability of a ship like this. I mentioned it before on the podcast. I'm looking forward to getting my Ghost in the mail later this year, but I already know it doesn't have any lights or electronics built in, which I really think is you know, it's not a deal breaker, obviously, but it's really sad that they didn't include that. And it's also sad that the Cantina also does not include at least some lights. And seeing here what Disney is doing for the Starspeeder 3000, and they can offer this for $300 and only produce 3,000 of it with 2 exclusive figures. Yeah, I think that Hasbro needs to take a closer look at what Disney's been doing here in this case. And guess what? As I was just now to wrap up this segment of the podcast where I just talked about Disney and D23, guess what? There is another exclusive Astromech droid which you can now hunt down, and that is also exclusive to D23. And this one is called R6 D23. And this one is painted in silver, has a silver base color, got some red and black highlights, and it does come with Mickey's sorcerer hat as an accessory that you can plug into the dome. This seems like it's the Builder Droid sculpt, so you can break it apart. You can take the legs off of the dome, the middle leg, you can unplug that as well. You can take the dome off. And yeah, if you own any of these Builder droids, there you go. This is another one. It's a repainted version, and it does come with the Mickey Sorcerer's hat on an exclusive card that has Bespin, out of all places. It has Bespin featured in the background. So very cool. And I can't believe just how much Disney is betting on Star Wars 3 3/4 inch, not 6 inch, but 3 3/4 inch figures for their exclusive items. So first we have the Halloween droid, now we have the D23 droid, plus we have Captain Rex and an R2-D2 droid together with the playset. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff that's exclusive to their show. I'm going to be posting that up on galacticfigures.com in the next hour or so, so make sure to stop by the website and take a good look at what this looks like. And this is where I'm going to wrap up this episode of GFT Galactic Figure Talk with a Disney update, basically, with all their exclusive items for D23. Like I mentioned earlier, for all the news, make sure to stop by galacticfigures.com and browse over 5,000 different Star Wars action figures. Thank you guys for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.
It's a wrap for this episode, but the next one is just around the corner, so make sure to subscribe. Meanwhile, have fun browsing over 4,000 Star Wars figures on galacticfigures.com, the Star Wars action figure database. The website helps you look up and identify Star Wars figures. Leave your own figure reviews in the comments, or check out photo galleries, figure info, news, press releases, or event coverage from New York Toy Fair and Star Wars celebrations. Thanks for listening. Check the links in the description, and remember to subscribe.